Cairo, April 2nd, 1968. The air was thick with the scent of engine oil and dust. Across the quiet Coptic church of St. Mary, two bus mechanics were finishing their shift. Farouk Mohammed Atwa wiped his hands on a rag, glanced up, and froze. There, standing on the church's curved dome, was a woman. The woman balanced at the very edge. He shouted, his voice echoing across the street, imploring that she not jump. Pedestrians stopped, drivers hit their brakes. Within minutes, a crowd had gathered. Muslims, Christians, men, women, all staring upward, fearing she might fall. But the woman didn't move. She didn't stumble. Instead, a light began to shimmer around her, soft at first, then blinding. Her body seemed to dissolve into the brilliance until only radiance remained, a living flame above the church. The crowd gasped. Some dropped to their knees. And in that silence, the impossible became clear. This wasn't a woman in danger. It was a woman sent to bring hope. That night, in a dusty Cairo suburb, the Virgin Mary appeared, not to a single visionary, but to everyone who looked up. Before we find out what really happened that night, we need to take a step back. Because this story isn't just about one apparition. It's about a people, a faith, and a country on edge. Egypt, the land of the Nile, cradle of pharaohs, scholars, and saints. Long before Europe knew the name Christian, faith had already taken root here. According to tradition, St. Mark the Evangelist arrived in Alexandria around the year 42 AD. From his preaching grew one of the world's first Christian communities, the Coptic Church, the beating heart of African Christianity. Their language, Coptic, preserved the last echoes of ancient Egyptian speech. Their monasteries filled the deserts with prayer. And after centuries, Egypt was one of the intellectual centers of the Christian world, home to thinkers like Athanasius and Origen, whose writings shaped the faith itself. But in the 7th century, everything changed. From the Arabian Peninsula, a new faith swept across the desert, Islam. In 641 AD, Arab forces entered Egypt, and within a few years, the crescents replaced the cross on the nation's banners. At first, the Christian population remained large, perhaps even the majority for several generations. But over time, taxes on non-Muslims, restrictions on worship, and social pressure to convert slowly changed the landscape. Churches fell silent, monasteries disappeared into the sand, and the once thriving Coptic population dwindled. Yet the Copts endured. They had to pay the jizya tax to keep their faith alive. They prayed in secret during persecution. They rebuilt their churches after each wave of destruction. And somehow, after 13 centuries, the flame of Egyptian Christianity never went out. By the 20th century, the Coptic Church was smaller, cautious, but unbroken. A remnant of the world's first believers, living within a Muslim majority that nonetheless held deep reverence for Mary, the mother of Jesus, whom they called Marian. And so for century after century, the Copts held their ground. Empires came and went, the Byzantines, the Arabs, the Ottomans, and finally the British. But the small Christian minority of Egypt endured, praying in the language of the pharaohs, keeping the gospel alive in the land of the Nile. By the mid-20th century, Egypt had become a Muslim nation, but the Copts remained its ancient heart, cautious, proud, and deeply rooted. They built hospitals, taught in schools, and filled their churches every Sunday, even as they lived in the shadow of political tides that rarely favored them. Then came Gamal Abdel Nasser, a revolutionary, a nationalist and a symbol of Arab power. He envisioned a modern Egypt, united under one banner, but not always kind to its minorities. Church lands were seized, Christian schools nationalized, and few Copts found place in government. It was a time of silence and uncertainty, when many feared that the oldest Christian community in Africa was quietly fading from public life. And yet, in this land where Christians were cautious to speak, and Muslims and Christians eyed one another with wary respect, there remained one figure loved by both, Mary. To the Christians, the Mother of God, the Theotokos. To the Muslims, Mariam, the most honored woman in the Quran, chosen above all others. It would be her, not a politician or a preacher, who would break that silence. Because soon, on an ordinary spring night in Cairo, she would appear where no one expected her to, on the roof of a mechanics neighborhood church. And when she did, the whole country, Muslims and Christians alike, would look up together. Hours earlier, a small crowd in the Cairo suburb of Zeitoun had witnessed something they couldn't explain. A glowing figure above the domes of St. Mary's Church, a woman bathed in light, who raised her hands toward heaven and vanished into the night. Word spread quickly. By the next evening, the narrow streets around the church were jammed with people, Muslims and Christians standing side by side, craning their necks toward the sky. And just after sunset, it happened again. A pale shimmer appeared above the dome, faint at first, then brilliant. This time, there was no mistaking it. The woman of light returned. Some said she bowed before the cross. Others swore they saw white shapes like doves, circling her before dissolving into air. Gasps turned into shouts of prayer. Children wept. Police, sent to control the crowd, dropped their batons and joined them, gazing upward in silence. Night after night, the vision returned. The glow could last minutes, sometimes hours, lighting the sky above Cairo. No one could explain it. But the city began to change. Rumors filled cafes and buses. Newspapers hinted at it, but dared not declare it. And yet the crowds only grew. Tens of thousands flooding Zeitoun's streets each night to see the light that defied every explanation. Still, the world demanded proof. And soon proof would come. Not through rumor or imagination, but through the lens of a camera and the eyes of Egypt's most powerful man. For months, the light above Zeitoun's little church kept returning. People came by the tens of thousands, farmers from the Delta, soldiers on leave, shopkeepers from downtown Cairo, all standing shoulder to shoulder, faces turned to the same patch of sky. But as the crowds grew, so did the skeptics. Was it mass imagination? A trick of reflection from passing cars? Government scientists inspected the domes and found nothing. No projectors, no mirrors, no wiring. Still, the world wanted proof. And then, someone caught it. A local photographer, waiting night after night with a telephoto lens, finally captured what the human eye had seen for months. A figure of pure light standing above the church, framed against the black Egyptian sky. The photos spread from Cairo to Rome, from Beirut to London, undeniable images of a woman robed in brilliance. Her outline, unmistakable. For the first time, a Marian apparition wasn't just believed, it was seen. And what you're about to see are real, unaltered images and film footage from the apparitions. The Coptic Orthodox Church launched an official investigation. Bishopric envoys interviewed witnesses, police officers, Muslim onlookers, even atheists who swore they had seen it with their own eyes. After weeks of testimony, Pope Cyril VI, head of the Coptic Church, issued a formal declaration. The apparitions of the Blessed Virgin Mary in Zeitoun were authentic. But the story didn't end there. Reports reached the highest offices of the Egyptian government, and the president himself, Gamal Abdel Nasser, a man known for power, pride, and a secular vision of Egypt, could no longer ignore what half the nation was talking about. One evening, according to multiple accounts, he came quietly to Zeitoun. No speeches, no cameras, just the president of Egypt among the crowd, looking upward like everyone else. And what he saw, they say, left him speechless. Soon after, state media changed its tone. No denials, no censorship. Instead, official pamphlets were printed and distributed through Egyptian embassies across the world, announcing that the Virgin Mary had appeared in Cairo. For the first time in modern history, a Muslim government acknowledged the Christian miracle. Many would later claim that Nasser softened his stance toward the Coptic community after that night, that something in him changed when he saw the light no one could explain. The apparition of Our Lady of Zeitoun would continue for 3 years, visible to millions, transcending faith and politics alike. In a country often divided by religion, it was the Virgin herself, the mother revered in both Christianity and Islam, who stood silently above the city, radiant and wordless, reminding Egypt that heaven had not forgotten her. And maybe that's why she appeared where she did, not in a cathedral or a palace, but above a mechanic's church, where ordinary people first looked up and saw hope written in light. In the years since, the lights of Zeitoun have never returned. But for those who saw them, the memory never faded. Muslims and Christians alike still speak of that night when heaven touched Cairo, when a silent figure of light united a divided nation in wonder. Some call it a miracle. Others call it mystery. But either way, for one brief moment, the Mother of Jesus reminded Egypt who she truly was, a bridge between worlds, a sign of peace and proof that faith still finds its way into the darkest sky. Do you believe it really happened? Let me know what you think in the comments. If stories like this fascinate you as much as they do to me, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video.